Hello, this is Aoife Dean and this is the Happy Weight Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I want to talk about 3 things that really helped me let go of weight. They really changed me completely, changed my behaviors and everything. And I suppose I was figuring this out between kind of 2010 to 2015 maybe. And so that was social media reels, pre-bite-sized little kind of things that you could learn about how your mind works or motivation or behaviors. It was pre any of that. And now that all that stuff is out there, there's a lot of the times that I might come across something, even though I am really trying to be on social media as an absolute minimum. It does not suit me. I just try and, get my content out there so I can help like-minded people or whatever. But ultimately, I think social media is the devil. But anyways, so when I am on it, though, reels come up of neuroscientists or people or behavioral people or motivational people. And I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what I done for my weight. That's literally what I done. And see, I suppose I was fumbling around in the dark. I just knew insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And so I was running out of options, only changing from the inside in rather than the outside. Because the way we're always looking for something new and, maybe I'll go off this food or maybe I'll try this thing or maybe if I had 3 good days behind me. So we're always putting the focus on what's out there or the time to come, getting the time to come right. And that's all a distraction from what you need to do is changing how your mind works now, this moment, changing how you're framing things now rather than hoping for the next few days to be different or for you to be able to cut out a different food. It's no, the work is always now. So I would have been fumbling around in the dark trying to edit the way I was thinking about things or reacting to things. And then, as I noticed positive results, I'd just dial up the volume on that change and then notice more positive results. And that's why sometimes I suppose in my podcast and in my work with clients, I can be quite black and white about things because I want people to, save a load of time basically for all the time it took me to figure out things that changed my eating and weight. I'd love to shorten that journey for people. And that's why I can be like, you need to do this. You need to do it to the max because, like I said, it took me a while to notice, oh, wow, if I do it a bit more, I get even better results. And if I do it a bit more, I get even better results. So I'm going to jump right in anyways. And I'm going to talk about 3 things that really were a big mindset shift. Okay. And so the first one is be on the same team. And So I suppose when we have a weight problem, it feels like we're at the bottom of an Everest and we want to get all the way to the top of an Everest. And it feels like we are so separate from our goal. We are so far away from it. Sometimes we probably can't even imagine having it. We feel so disconnected from it. And then we might have colleagues or sister-in-laws or sisters or friends. And there they are, a healthy weight or slim out, and you can see them, eating, their leftover cheesy pasta for their lunch or something, or you see them ordering a ice cream or a donut or whatever really casually, and they're clearly not messed up with food and they're a healthy weight. And then, if we're someone who's been trying to lose weight and, we could be thinking to ourselves oh my God, I haven't let myself eat cheesy pasta in ages, and here I am, overweight and there she is eating all the cheesy pasta she wants and she's slim. How unfair is that? What an alien species she is. And, I suppose they can be a real them versus us. There can be a real, those weirdos over there, like my sister-in-law or my colleague, those weirdos who just eat whatever they want and stay slim. They're so alien to me. They're so different from me. And for some reason, I don't know how I kind of came about this, but I just started to think that, I literally had a phrase attached to it. Hey guys, I'm in the gang. It's just my body's catching up. So it's hey guys, I'm in the gang. You just can't see it yet on my body. It's kind of like if you were in some mum's group or something, but the baby was with its dad today. It's like, no, I do have a baby. It's just not here with me today, but I am a mom. And so it's kind of like the same now with her weight. It's kind of like, no, I'm in the gang, and like mentally I'm in the gang. I talk like you talk. I think like you think. I go about my life. I go about my day. I go about my world as someone who is slim, and my body is just catching up. So it doesn't need to look slim yet. It doesn't need to look like the finished product. It's coming, but mentally I am already there. And I think that's a huge change, because also, and there's so many like positive quotes and Instagram quotes on this too. It's like, if we're making an enemy of our goal, like that's a block. So like if we're kind of like, oh, sure, yeah, she's slim and she can eat whatever she wants, but she's actually really selfish. Like sometimes, to be honest, when I start with clients, they are saying stuff like that about people they know. They're like, yeah, but she wouldn't get off her arse for anyone. I'm there slaving away and she doesn't do a bit. So, I wouldn't like to be like that type of person anyway. And when we put a slim person down, or we put someone who does have a cool relationship with food and isn't overweight, when we put them down, like I know for myself anyway, I think it does make you feel 20% better, I would say. It makes you feel 20% better to be like, I wouldn't even like to be like that. She seems super boring anyways. That makes you feel kind of good, but ultimately you still feel 80% bad, because in my scenario, yeah, I felt kind of good calling her boring and telling myself it's okay because I never want to be boring anyways. But ultimately, I didn't want a weight problem. I did not want a weight problem. I didn't want to be overweight. I didn't want to still be struggling with food in 5 years, 10 years, 50 years time. So it was actually no consolation to put that woman down, or to put whatever friend or colleague or whoever I was judging. That was not a consolation, because if I was being really honest with myself, I did want a bit of what they had. Like maybe I didn't want to be boring or a bitch or selfish or whatever, but I did want what they had in terms of not having a weight problem. So I suppose we really have to check ourselves, because as long as you're jealous and as long as you're putting the other team down, that's a problem, because we want to be on the same team. We want to be on the same team as people who already have what we want. So rather than finding reasons why we're so different and dissimilar and why they're bad and we're good, you don't want to do that anymore if you no longer want a weight problem. If you don't want a weight problem anymore, you have to find why you and this person are so alike, and how you could do what they do too. Like as in, I don't know, like I don't even want to go into too many examples in case it throws you off. But basically, like I said, the mentality now is to find how you could be similar, how you can act in that way as well, or you can mimic some of the behaviors, but they are not alien species. You are in the gang. Like, I hope that makes sense. I suppose if I had to put a phrase on it, if I had to put a mantra that went over and over over and over in my mind, it would have been like, hey girls, I'm in the same gang, it's just my body's catching up. Or hey girls, I'm in the same gang, you just can't see it yet. That would have been my mentality, so also I suppose the benefit of that is that rather than feeling like you're behind and you're not good enough and you've done something wrong and they're better than you, the whole mentality of like, hey girls, I'm in the same gang is putting you on an equal footing. Like you're no longer tolerating the kind of idea that you're so beneath them or anything like that. It stops that mentality too. So then on to the second point. The second point would be extreme praise. So to get ourselves into a weight problem, what we had to do is we had to really come down hard on ourselves. And this is another little nugget I would have kind of retrospectively learnt online way after I'd done it, because, it's kind of well-known science now that, like when there's a lot of emotion with a thought, it deepens it. Like, just like as in, say people remember where they were when the Twin Towers fell or whatever, if there's a strong emotion linked with something, you'll remember it. Or if there's a strong emotion linked with a smell, that smell will always bring up the strong emotion. So strong emotion like really cements neural pathways in our brain, and ultimately our little choices with food, our little choices with how we talk to ourselves about our body, how we treat ourselves, the kind of place we're in with our body is all about how our neurons and how our mind has been linked up and how we've trained it to be linked up. So now we want to emotionally cement very, very different ways of being, right? So say maybe before our old wiring would have been like overeat, hate myself, overeat, like tell myself my future is awful and I'm always going to be fat. Like maybe that was the strong, solid emotion with maybe even the feeling of fullness in our belly or feeling too full. That could have triggered a repeated response of, oh, I hate myself. Oh, I'm so broken. So now we want to start really cementing, wildly different responses, basically. So extreme praise is something that I would have, I suppose, lent on. And, like all the advice says, it's the extreme part that is important, because our extreme guilt or extreme self-hatred, that's what really got us really stuck into a weight problem. And to the degree that someone has self-hatred around their food choices, around what they ate yesterday, around their body, that's how stuck they are in a weight problem. Same with guilt, the degree to which they're really feeling guilty about what they ate yesterday or the weight they gained, that's how stuck they are in a weight problem. So now the extremeness needs to go into a different direction. So I am so proud of myself that I left one Pringle in the tub of Pringles. I am so crazy proud of myself. And it's like, yes, be extreme, be mental. If this is important enough to you, you're willing to be mental. You're willing to act very different than how you used to act. So, for me, I suppose my phrase attached to that is, well, if I could do it once, I could do it a second time. I could do it more often. So like say leaving one Pringle in a pack or leaving 1/6 of the share bag of crisps left in the pack when you finally realized, wait, what am I doing? Actually, I'm mindlessly eating here. I'm not enjoying these. My belly feels gross. I don't have to do this. Like us waking up and realizing that, and even leaving one crisp left in the pack, and then us saying like, oh my God, well, if I can wake up and leave one crisp behind, I could do that, 5 times a week. And then before you know it, I could do it 10 times a week. Or before you know it, I could wake up earlier and realize, oh, hey, it's not just, one crisp that I'm leaving behind. It's a half a tub I realize that I don't need. And then you extrapolate from leaving 1/2 a bag of a share bag, once a week, or 1/2 of a takeaway. Like if you tot up all the calories that you are leaving behind from this increasing story of being able to do that one thing that starts with leaving one Pringle behind in the tub, that's huge. That is life changing. So extreme praise for realizing the spuds weren't that nice and I left it behind, or having the balls to say, no, I won't have your dry, crappy scone. Not that you have to say the second part, but that, no, you're going to stop on the way home and get something that you actually like, or you've a lovely dinner waiting for you and you want your prime real estate, that is your belly, to be spent on that. Or any of these moments and waking up where you realize you deserve better with food. Like you deserve to use food to put nice feelings in your belly. You don't deserve to be a dog or a bin where leftovers are just thrown into your body. And so, like I said, all those moments of empowerment, all those moments of us being like, nah, fuck it. I'm not eating those last 3 things. I don't need them. I don't like them. I'm not enjoying them. I can eat them later. I can eat them tomorrow, but I don't need to do them now. And like that one decision, having extreme praise around it, because that actually is how you let go of a weight problem. Like letting go of a weight problem is not signing up to a half marathon or a triathlon. It's not saying I'll cut out a whole food group or I'll cut out a whole food. Like that's all disordered eating. That's not why someone is happy ever after without a weight problem. It's actually micro choices, teeny tiny choices where it's us waking up, realizing, hey, wait a second, I deserve to be comfortable, not uncomfortable. I deserve to have foods that I love, not foods that I don't love. I deserve to treat my body with respect, not a bin, not like a garbage disposal. You know, so all those moments of waking up, like the first one is important. And like, I'm always trying to solidify memories, like in my client's head. Like whenever they're telling me a cool story of, I don't know, they were in McDonald's and they ordered differently, or they were coming back from their mom's house and they'd normally eat X, Y, and Z there, and tonight they just ate exactly what they wanted and they felt nice, or whatever it might be. All those stories, like, just because that's been my experience, where I'm like, you literally will remember this in 10 years time, 20 years time. You'll remember these first few times where you had the balls to be different. You had the balls to act differently. You had the self-love to react in a new way so that you could feel better leaving your mom's house, or you could feel better walking out of McDonald's, or you could feel better driving home from work, or whatever it was, the incident after food, you know? So concreting those times in our mind and layering the praise. Layering the praise. And that part is so hard. I know it's hard. And if ever there's a reason that like someone doesn't change, or it's really hard to work with a client, I'm telling you, the only reason it's ever hard to get a client results is because they're so freaking allergic to being positive with themselves. And it's like really, getting blood out of a stone to try and get them to commend themselves, to spot praise, to build on praise, to notice praise. So yet again, if you want another cheat sheet on all of this, if you want another hack, like, it's get good at praising yourself quickly, because this will all be about now that you are giving tons of oxygen to those significant moments. Like I said, the first time that you didn't do whatever, or that you did do whatever, that you're putting huge significance and importance and emotion onto those. Isn't it called emotional tagging, I think, to help your brain remember it? You're putting a load of emotion on it. And the other thing that you're doing by doing that is you're not giving oxygen to all the old shit, all the old stories, all the old like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. And I can think of everything I ate wrong yesterday. And I can think of everything that was wrong with the portion I ate and all of that. Like, that is the old story. That is the old emotions. We're not doing that anymore because we want a brand new outcome. And then the third one is like, each meal, you're completely wide open. And actually every day you are completely wide open. And if I had to put a phrase or a mantra that I used over and over with this, it's that I don't have a clue. Like, I don't have a clue. And I'm none the wiser now. It's 4:15. I've zero clue what I will need mentally or emotionally later on. And if I'm with family or friends or anyone later on, or if someone's cooking for me or whatever, it's grand. I'll be able to roll with the punches. I'll be able to read how I'm feeling emotionally. I'll be able to read my taste buds. I'll be able to read my belly, and I will be able to eat like out of what's going. I will be able to eat an amount that feels good to me, helps me emotionally, makes me feel good afterwards, makes me feel good leaving the table 20 minutes after, etc. I'm well able to do that. But at 4:15, I'm not going to be like, oh, tonight I need loads of food, or tonight I need no food, or tonight I won't need any carbs, or tonight I'll need loads of protein. Like, that's banana stuff. That's really, really mental. Like, to think that you know more than the human body is quite profound, like quite crazy. So, then like, so control, like disordered eating is all control. It's all like us being like, I know best, and this is what you should do with protein, and this is what you should do with this, and you should measure this, and you should do that. And it's all assuming you know better, or whoever you're listening to knows better than your actual liver and your actual duodenum and your actual stomach and your actual esophagus and your actual dopamine levels. Like, as in, your body definitely knows more than you. So I suppose we'd be copping out of all of that control now, and we'd be choosing mindfulness instead. And mindfulness is like basically our our power is in the moment. Like, yeah, I know exactly how I feel now and what I want. I just, I'm staring at, I had a Raffalo Easter egg, you know, that white chocolate coconut Easter egg. So I just had been munching on that before I press recorded. And I'll probably go back to it now. It's very nice, very yummy. I may or may not actually. I think I've had enough. It was yum. And, but I know that, right? I know how I feel now. But like I said, I don't have a clue like what I'll feel like at 6 p.m. tonight. I don't have a clue what I'll feel like at 8 a.m. tomorrow, 1 p.m. tomorrow. And like I said, that is bananas for anyone to think that they do know what their body will need tomorrow. Is just crazy talk. It's like pretending you know what time you're going to need to go to the loo tomorrow. And so, you know, like I was saying about like, you really have to concrete memories. And I suppose sometimes we do if it's a big learning anyway. But, I've probably bored you with this story before. If you're a client, I definitely have maybe. But the last time I assumed I knew what my body wanted was in the Bullman in Kinsale. It was a Sunday. I was with my school friends. I had ordered spare ribs and chips. Don't know what I got for starter or dessert, but I definitely got them as main. And the old part of my brain was like, Aoife, this is an insane amount of calories. You pretty much ordered the most fattiest thing in the menu because I need 1 part chip to 3 part mayonnaise and a ton of salt with it. That's the only way I can eat chips. So the subtotal calories was out of this world, would blow up an app if I entered it into an app, I'd say. But like, that's how I felt anyway. That's how the disordered eating part of my brain was telling me. Of course, that's not the truth. Of course it isn't. It's just a normal meal. But anyways, so I was like, I definitely won't need to eat after this. I don't know. I think I had it in late afternoon, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. And I told myself, okay, you won't need to eat for the evening now because you had all of this. And then at like 7 o'clock, my belly was like, can I have something? Can I get something? You know? So I was like, it was the kind of final straw after thousands and thousands of learnings anyways. But I was like, just never assume, like, you know, cause that was a pretty energy dense meal on a sedentary day. And I was like, there's not a hope I'll be hungry later. Like, not a hope. But I definitely don't remember what I was up to or where I was in my cycle or what my sleep or stress was at like at the time. But all those things would have had a factor into when I got hungry next. And that's the part you don't know deeply enough about your body to understand all of the complexities of appetite, you know. But what you can be assured of is your appetite is not talking about obesity. Like when it's not talking about any weight issue, underweight or overweight. When your hunger is talking, that is your lean body mass talking. That's not your fat cells trying to stay around. That is your lean body mass, your bones, your organs, your muscles talking. When you feel full, that's also your lean body mass talking. It's not your fat cells. They just sit there. They don't pay any rent. They're not pulling from your calorie stream. So when you feel full, when you feel hunger, when you feel something doesn't taste nice, whatever, this is all a glimmer into exactly how it will be at your ideal weight. It will be the same thing you'll be doing. You'll be listening to those signals. Those signals are around your ideal body weight. So yeah, so I think I covered all 3 of them really. You know, so just to go back again, the first one is like, hey guys, I'm in your team. My body is just catching up. And yet again, career-wise, people have done this. You might, if you've started a business, you would have gone to entrepreneurial stuff, not knowing your arse from your elbow on what you were going to do with your startup or what you were going to do in your business, but you were like being around business owners, or, you know, if you became a doctor, if you became a teacher, if you became anything, there would have been times where you were hanging around more senior people being like, hey, I'm in the gang, and, you know, mentally getting there. So it's just that we really make that step up now. And then the second one, of course, being extreme praise. That will be the hardest take, I would imagine, from this podcast today. And this will really test how much you want this. Because if you want this, and I think that's what I had on my side, I really, really did not want to have weight problems my whole life. If you want to get out of this, you are going to be willing to do uncomfortable things, and uncomfortable things now is coming across like a cheesy American movie to yourself and, being super loving, encouraging, and only noticing the good, only noticing the glimmers of if I did that more, and then I did it more, and then I did it more, then 20 calories would turn into 200, would turn into 2000, would turn into blah, blah. I won't bore you with repeating myself. And then the last one, like I said, is, each day you are completely open-minded. You don't have a clue. If you wake up in the morning, you do not have a rashers of a clue what your body will need in 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours. So stay open. And when you walk into a restaurant or when you find out that you're going out to a restaurant in an hour's time, stay open. You could do all the pre-thinking you want in the world right now, but it's not until your bum is on that seat and you are looking at the menu and you are reading your taste buds, you are reading your emotions, you are reading your belly feelings. It's only in that moment you would have the power to create the right decision. And everything you do that before that is just like irrelevant noise that really is a weight problem, I would think. It's the thinking in between, it's the controlling, it's the assuming, it's the making a right and a wrong so that later, if you go against your plan that you make now, you feel like a failure. So we'll get rid of all of that stuff and instead stay totally open. So yeah, I hope today's session was helpful. Catch me at happyweight.ie, at happyweight on Instagram, on TikTok. And also if you want to work one-to-one with me, catch me at www.happyweight.ie. I would love to work with you. I would love to get you to the other side of all of this. So thanks so much for being here. Take care. Have a lovely week.